Good evening, Council Rock. Thank you to those who are here tonight and those joining us on YouTube for tonight's informational presentation investigating the option of adding full-day kindergarten to Council Rock. Earlier this year, the Council Rock Board of School Directors requested that administration do a thorough analysis of what full-day kindergarten would mean for our district. Since then, we have done a great deal of work gathering information on the possible costs and the benefits of full-day kindergarten and the impact it would have on existing Council Rock staffing, programs, and facilities. Tonight, you will see a summary of our work to date. It is important to note that should the Board of School Directors vote to proceed with full-day kindergarten, there is much more work to be done. Additionally, results from the recently concluded kindergarten interest survey conducted by Hanover Research have yet to be analyzed. Your questions about full-day kindergarten are important, and accuracy in answering them is essential. We ask that you contact Council Rock directly with any questions and not rely on social media sites, as they often misinterpret or skew information. Remember, Council Rock is the most reliable and accurate source of all information regarding our district. Thank you for joining us tonight, and now I'd like to introduce our Director of Elementary Education, Mrs. Nicole Crawford.
Thank you, Dr. Sanko. Again, my name is Nicole Crawford. I'm the Director of Elementary Education in Council Rock School District. Good evening and welcome to the Full Day Kindergarten Community Information Night. We are pleased to have the opportunity to provide you with an update related to the topic of full day kindergarten. To start, allow me to share an overview of our evening together. Tonight, school district administrators, along with several kindergarten teachers, will be offering a comprehensive informational session. We will share important details about full-day kindergarten, including information that our team has presented in school board committee meetings since January. We will also provide you with a general update on where we are in the exploration process and outline our next steps. Embedded into our presentation are commonly asked questions related to full-day kindergarten. In addition, we will be providing you with an opportunity to ask questions of your own. This evening, we have made index cards available for the audience. If during tonight's presentation you have a question or there is any other item that we can help clarify, please write it down and place it in the basket at the back of the auditorium. Toward the end of tonight's presentation, these index cards will be collected and addressed. If you happen to have a question that is more personal in nature, we can certainly connect with you directly following the presentation. Now, I will address the work that has been done so far since January of 2024 at the school board's request. We began by conducting research on full-day kindergarten and presented an overview of what programming looks like in a full-day format. After analyzing our potential needs related to staffing, curriculum, facilities, training, and cost, we established a proposed timeline for the implementation of full-day kindergarten and aiming for a start date of fall of 2025. In addition to this analysis, members of our team conducted site visits to surrounding districts to learn more about their implementation process. Most recently, we partnered with Hanover Research to create a community survey, which went live on Monday, May 20th, and concluded on Sunday, June 2nd. As Dr. Sanko mentioned, we do not currently have the analysis of these survey results just yet, but we plan to share the results of this survey during an education meeting on Wednesday, June 12th at 7:00 p.m. Members of our team will now provide you with an update on the steps that I just mentioned. Thank you once again for being here tonight, and let's get started.
Good evening. My name is Nakia Jones-Tate, and I'm the principal at Hillcrest Elementary School. As a former kindergarten teacher of both half-day and full-day programs, I was excited to be a part of this exploratory team for full-day kindergarten. There are potential academic and social impacts to pursuing a full-day program. Having a full-day program allows extra time to develop academic and social learning skills. The increase in hours offers more time for social opportunities. It also assists with establishing a schedule and consistent routines for students. And lastly, a full-day program would allow teachers more opportunities to deliver personalized instruction as well as interventions to students.
Good evening. My name is Jamie Sager, and I am a kindergarten teacher for the past 20 years at Goodnoe Elementary. Prior to starting all this, we sent a survey out to kindergarten teachers, and the results are as follows. Many kindergarten teachers believe that a full-day kindergarten will increase academic skills. It will give us more time for instructional interventions, as well as maximizing our current curriculum. It will also increase the readiness for first grade, as well as an opportunity to strengthen our students' social and emotional growth. Some things that were of a concern or maybe an obstacle would be providing adequate staffing to support full-day kindergarten. Other teachers thought about the developing an appropriate schedule, as well as addressing some space challenges regarding the classrooms in the various schools. Thank you.
So over the course of the last month, we've had an opportunity to visit a few successful kindergarten programs in the area. During our Colonial School District visit, we observed a K-3 school. They had approximately 6 to 7 sections of kindergarten, which some teachers stated that it allowed more time for collaboration with a larger group of staff members. The class size was on average 20 students in each classroom. There was a heavier academic focus versus what you might hear from the other 2 visits. The full-day program allowed for extended time for learning centers, curriculum and academic, and differentiation for all students. We also spoke with some of the administrative staff in that building, and they noted that the first 3 days of the school consisted of orientation, as well as screening opportunities that allow for more strategic class placements with balancing students. We noted that there were 6 specials, and they had a 45-minute recess and lunch block, and they also had something which they called a bonus recess, and that was teacher-led. And also, in addition to the schedule, there were 30 minutes allowed for intervention time, where the students had an opportunity to switch classes for those intervention supports.
Hi, good evening. My name's Lauren Hughes. I teach kindergarten at Newtown Elementary School. I've been teaching kindergarten for 23 years. 18 of them have been at Newtown Elementary. Just one first grade in there somewhere, but that's my experience. I was able to go visit a school in Souderton. It was Franconia Elementary School. It was wonderful. It was, they were doing something called purposeful play. That was our focus of our visit, and I was very into that. Students were fully engaged in all their activities. It's sort of like a thematic based. They were communicating, sharing ideas with each other. Like I was hearing all that happening, using kind voices, helping each other. They were proud of the work that they were doing. They could answer questions. They could answer so many questions, even reworded differently. But whatever they were doing, they were able to respond to that. I noticed the teacher was able to walk around the room and chat with each group of kids while they were playing, and just check in with all of them. And the teacher doing the same thing as I was trying to do, ask questions, get their feedback, redirect them if needed. The sounds of happy kids playing and learning could be heard in all 4 classrooms that I went to visit. They were all doing the same thing at the same time. And the way they described it was it's themed play for 4 to 6 weeks per theme, and it comes from 6 core themes, and then there's 3 additional ones in case a teacher has extra time or needs to move some things around. Some of the themes overlap, so some of the supplies were able to be used multiple times throughout the school year. I heard lots of honest feedback from teachers, positive feedback about how they have enough time now to get things done. And probably the best part, besides seeing the children, was being able to debrief with their team. It was a very large team of teachers and just so many different people who were talking to us about how they got from A to Z, how long it took them, and they mentioned that they're always still working at making it better. And then I think it will be great to go back and discuss more with that team because they really did a lot of work. They did a lot of work groundwork. And lastly, thanks for the opportunity to visit the school and to share my feedback with you here tonight.
Good evening. My name is Lauren McCusker, and I am one of the kindergarten teachers at Goodenough Elementary School. I was honored and excited to be part of not only this conversation, but a visit to Westchester School District to experience their full-day kindergarten program. As Lauren mentioned, Purposeful Play was a part of this program as well. We had an opportunity to visit 4 different classrooms and see the students light up, engaged, having fun, and as Lauren mentioned too, laughing. It was really wonderful. The belief that play is serious work for children is the motto of this school. They love play. It is the way to engage and to keep the children having fun. They used hands-on learning. They were using their imagination, creativity, problem-solving skills, and communication skills. The teachers were walking around, engaging with all of the students, and really getting to learn who they are as human beings, learning their interests, learning all of their talents. Some of the play centers that we were able to witness during this Purposeful Play were a grocery store, a doctor's office, a Dunkin' Donuts, an ice cream shop. Students were building villages and different towns with buildings, and other students were even becoming their own authors and making their own books. It was really, really fun to see. It was a great way to bring all different subjects to life: math, science, reading, social studies. It was wonderful. We also had time to debrief with the team at Westchester. They were wonderful in taking the time to explain how they went through the process of moving from half-day to full-day kindergarten, very similar to what we're doing here. And it was just a wonderful experience overall, and I'm honored to have been a part of it. It left me feeling energized and excited for the possibility of bringing this to our students in Council Rock. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Bender. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Churchville Elementary School. I've been a kindergarten teacher there for 9 years. I've been in this Council Rock School District for probably, I'm thinking almost 15 years, but I did teach on the main line for a full-day kindergarten class, so I have a little bit of that experience. As Nakia and our 2 kindergarten teachers talked about, mentioned that they visited these kindergarten classes. They were a full-day model that was extremely successful. We learned that one key factor was visiting other schools, because we get to see what's happening in those schools, what the teachers are doing, what the schedule looks like. The other part was getting to collaborate with other teachers, reading about topics such as purposeful play, and also doing a lot of research to fit in for our kindergarten. And then meeting other educators. They were able to build on their existing curriculum, not changing it. They took what they had. They adjusted for new specials, because instead of like 2 specials, they might have more than that. And they modified their daily schedules to fit for children at that age of 5 and 6. Inspired by these successful schools, if given this opportunity, we would like to continue this exploration as kindergarten teachers, as staff, and as administrators. We aim to visit additional schools right here in Bucks County, because we thought that would be a good thing to do. We like to learn more about their full-day kindergarten, how they began, what developed, where they are now. And what they're doing is things like their schedules and accommodating their curriculum to fit things. A well-structured curriculum, a well-structured schedule is so important for 5- and 6-year-olds. We have to fit in curriculums, our specials, other things happening, purposeful play. It's crucial for the success for a 5- and 6-year-old to transition into a full-day program. We know a lot of them come from full day in other places sometimes, but for full-day kindergarten, having everything here with us would be wonderful. That's going to be our focal point. Our young students need to play. They need to explore. They need to work together as a team. They need to socialize. They need to talk with one another. They need to learn through play and learn through each other. And the rest we can all think about is participating in that wonderful curriculum that we have, which is awesome. Learning from those who have already transitioned into full-day kindergarten for us undoubtedly will help us and guide us in our efforts to become a full-day kindergarten class. We always say, children first, always.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Devlin, the Director of Special Services, here to talk about special education and full-day kindergarten. We believe that full-day programming with rich structured curriculum and targeted interventions may possibly mitigate the need for future special education programming for some. While for others, full-day kindergarten will provide earlier screening and identification for students who have that need greater to be eligible for special education. Also with a full-day program, we'll be able to provide increased, meaningful inclusion opportunities for our programs that are already existing for our specialized students in our specialized kindergarten programs. Now I will reintroduce Ms. Sager to tell you a little bit more about what we can offer.
Thank you, Anthony. Once again, I'm still Jamie Sager. I'm very excited to be here. As Anthony mentioned, we will have increased options for inclusivity. Teachers will have more time to implement and follow up on IEPs, ensuring that students with special needs receive and continue the appropriate accommodations and support throughout the school day. There will be more opportunities for purposeful play, as many of my colleagues just shared, where children learn to interact and play together, fostering an inclusive mindset. Additionally, it will enhance transition opportunities for students transitioning from early intervention. These students will continue to receive support and interventions throughout the school day, reducing gaps that may occur during a half-day program. Children who transition from early intervention often continue to need services such as speech, OT, PT, and a full-day kindergarten can more easily accommodate those services within the school day. So, thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Tamara Gary. I'm the Supervisor of Curriculum Instruction. As you've heard all my colleagues speaking to the importance of a really great curriculum for our students to start their careers as Council Rock students. We already have a half-day program, so we already have a lot of programs in place. So we have Reading Horizons is our reading series based on structured literacy that we currently use. However, since our day is only 2.5 hours, they're limited in the scope of what could be accomplished during that time. So with more time, it gives you more opportunity for the students to learn more explicit instruction and to practice. I should push this up a little so you can hear me. We have the Wonders program as our reading curriculum in the grades 1 through 5. At kindergarten, currently, we do not have it in the schedule. This is something we would explore to see how that would fit in and how the benefit of our students moving forward. In the kindergarten grades, you're looking at phonemic awareness, letters, sounds, and putting all of those building blocks together so that increase in time provides a lot more opportunity for students to engage. Purposeful play has been brought up many times. And that really connects to the ELA standards, our reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So the students need the opportunity to speak and to listen and engage in that social dynamic to learn the language, to learn the words, to engage with sentence structure and conversation. So those are all integrated into the development of the language skills. In math, we currently have the Bridges program. Again, this would be expanded with time and giving more of the instruction. Again, at this level, they're looking at numbers, shapes, and counting. For science and social studies, we do a combination of time so that the coverage is there. Currently in science, we have the new STEEL standards of a focus, and at our last education committee meeting, we presented there 4 different units through the Smithsonian Institute, where students learn about weather, they learn about animals, they learn about motion, and all, again, the building blocks for building content knowledge that also incorporate with language. With social studies, it also ties to social skills and social development. So you're looking at community, at maps, basic economic skills, then and now unit, which looks at history. So again, it's giving more time for the students to expand, to have critical thinking, to have investigation, and to really be creative in looking at what they do. So the important element that comes with this is we know what has to be covered. It's the element of time. So what this slide really presents is our current schedule, which is 2.5 hours, and the things that are covered, they're not necessarily in order, but just what a day looks like and what's covered. And then in the other column, it takes a look at a possibility of what could be for scheduling. Again, this would be dictated upon everybody working together and looking at many different factors. But the important thing is the expansion of time. Circle time, English, math, science, social studies, possible inclusion of purposeful play, and what that would look like and how that brings all the different dynamics together. And then very importantly, the specials. Right now they only receive 2 specials. The students would be receiving all of the specials, including STEAM. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ron Spring. I'm the Director of HR, and I'm just going to speak briefly about staffing needs with respect to full-day kindergarten. In particular, I want to start off by focusing on how we got these numbers. We focused on a student population by looking at the historical population of our incoming first grade class. Now, obviously, that can be higher, it can be lower as we move towards full-day kindergarten, but for an average, we wanted to use the numbers that we had based on our historical review of the first grade. Based on that, we see a need for 17 to possibly 20 general education teachers. Again, that number varies based on the population, but we're planning on approximately 17 general education teachers. In addition, as Ms. Gary just pointed out, we really want our full-day kindergarten students to have the same opportunities and experiences as our first grade through sixth grade students. So we will be offering them all of the specials throughout the week and throughout the year. Due to that, we will be requiring to hire an additional 7 specialists. We're looking at potentially another 5 instructional assistants, and really they're there to help with individual students' needs, you know, stretching from special education through MTSS and beyond. An additional support staff, when you look at the increased population, you're looking for the potential need for additional recess aides, cafeteria aides, assistance within the building to help support that additional young population. And finally, a school psychologist, as Mr. Devlin pointed out, you know, one of the benefits of having students here for a full day would help us with respect to identification of students, and that's where that psychologist would really come in and be helpful with respect to student identification. With respect to recruitment, really, we need to look at it from being early and consistent. We need to continue working with and building our relationships with our local colleges and universities and our college prep programs. We really want to build those relationships with those elementary cohorts at all of these areas, work with them, work with their job and student placement departments, and really focus on building those relationships early with the understanding that there's the potential job here at Council Rock for them. And again, this will also allow us to know the cohorts because we have high expectations here for our staff, and we only want to bring in the best for our students. And finally, we will also focus on various job fairs throughout the year, both virtual, that helps extend the area in which we're looking, as well as in person. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Rapp. I'm the Director of Business Administration at Council Rock. The first item that I'm going to talk about is the facility planning. We went out to each school building, met with the principal in each elementary school, and discussed their future planning for the number of classrooms that they need. And we were able to determine that we need an additional 17 classroom based on our study of the enrollment of first grade versus kindergarten. And we found that we could obtain those 17 classrooms within our current buildings and using the current building footprint. So we found that we would have enough room in those schools to put in 17 classrooms. We also looked at addressing scheduling needs for special areas and cafeteria recess. Obviously, right now, their kindergarten students do not go to lunch, but with full-day kindergarten, they would need to go to lunch. So we would need to fit in additional times for lunch and also for breakfast to get all, and we found that we would be able to do that. And one thing that comes up is that the Pennsylvania Department of Education does not require there to be a bathroom in each kindergarten classroom. So we are looking at that whole process, but if we did not put students in a classroom with a bathroom, the classroom would be placed close to an exterior bathroom, so there would be, and that bathroom would be limited to the kindergarten students. So even if there isn't a bathroom in the classroom, there would be the ability to take those students directly to the bathroom. So that's where we are with the additional classrooms. So how will we pay for kindergarten? So in our financial statement, we have money that has been our surpluses from past years. Right now we have $8 million in what we call the Future Educational Initiatives committed fund balance. By the end of this fiscal year, that'll be down to $7,665,000, I believe, $7,665,000. And because we did spend some of it on new boards this year. So looking at furniture and classroom supplies, so we're looking at one-time costs of the full-day kindergarten program. So costs that would be added that would be one-time just for that year, such as furniture. We'd be putting cubbies in each classroom. Obviously, we would have to buy some more smaller furniture. Our estimate of that total cost is $1,138,539, and we would take that directly from that Future Educational Initiatives fund balance. So that's where all of our one-time costs would come from. We looked at transportation, and we determined that with the elimination of the midday runs that we currently have for all the kindergarten students, and with the room that we have on buses at the beginning and end of the day, we would save between the elimination of the midday runs, which is, and any additional runs that we might need to add because of buses that are full, we're looking at a savings of $483,000. So we would actually save on transportation costs, according to our latest estimate. And as far as food services and applied lunch, that would be part of our contract with our food service management provider. Chances are, we would be adding additional lunches and additional breakfasts. Students that qualify for, we would be charging for those meals, or the third party would be charging for those meals. We would also get reimbursement from the state for all breakfasts, so all the breakfasts would be paid for. And we would still have increased lunch money from the state and federal government. So that would be the responsibility of our third-party vendor, but most likely that would at least be covered by costs, charges, and state and federal reimbursements. Now, the next part I want to talk about is these are the ongoing costs. So when we looked at the staffing needs that Mr. Spring spoke about, with the 17 classroom teachers, 7 special needs teachers, 5 instructional assistants, 3 support staff, and school psychologists. For the 25-26 school year, we estimate that would cost $2,611,208, and that's with $208. That's with all of those. That's for all of those positions. That includes all their benefits, their salaries, their benefits, and any reimbursement that we would get from the state to pay for those positions. In order to pay for those costs, we would plan to split a tax increase over 2 years to minimize the effect in each year once you consider transportation savings. So in 24-25, if we raise the taxes by 0.56%, the increase should be about $1,007,879. And in 25-26, I can't tell you what the percentage tax increase would be, but we would assume it would be less because obviously taxes went up in the year before, and also things like our valuation amounts change from year to year. So things like the amount that that we need to raise funds, percentage that we need to raise funds decreases. So that's how we plan to pay for full-day kindergarten. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Mangold. I'm the Director of District Communication. So it worked because you're here tonight, and that's really important. And I'm not sure if we can even tell how many people are watching on YouTube or will watch in the future, but I can tell you that during the course of this meeting already, I've updated the website. There is a full-day kindergarten information hub. But let's go back a little bit, pull back a little bit. There's a difference, a very profound difference between information and communication. So one of the things we do in Council Rock is we have been very careful and judicious with the information that we're sharing because we want the community to have nothing but accuracy. It pains us when we monitor social media and see patently false, incorrect, miscontextualized information. So one of the things that we're going to urge you tonight, if you see or hear anything that you have a question about, please feel free to contact the district. All of our information is on our website. So information and communication are important. Information travels outward, and communication requires a two-way exchange. In Council Rock, both of those things are important. Our practice is to inform as fully and promptly as possible with a focus on being clear, concise, and consistent. By extension, our communication is an essential element to addressing the concerns, questions, and ideas within the community. So how are we going to do that when it comes to full-day kindergarten? Well, the first thing we did was we put a tab on our website. Now, I do realize that websites are quickly losing their appeal with a new generation of parent. It's not really the first thing that they look for. It's probably, in all likelihood, social media. And again, we're very judicious with what we post on social media and where we post it. We do not have an active account on Twitter. We have an active account on Instagram and Facebook. So I suggest you find us, follow us, subscribe, like, share. If you know a family with a youngster, or maybe they don't even have children yet, or they've got little ones that will attend the district someday, if you would do us a favor and share it with them. They need to know. Keep them informed. We have the information hub. These slides from tonight are already posted there. You can see them in their entirety there. When the YouTube video is posted and processed to YouTube, there will be a link right there, so you can go on that. We're going to put something on the opening page so it's not so hard to find, but as it stands right now, it's under departments, under elementary ed, and you're going to see the first tab is full-day kindergarten. On that, we're going to have as many resources as families may need for registration, determining is my child ready for kindergarten or not, updates and new content as we move through the process. If there is material that is important that the community know about, that maybe they haven't seen or hasn't been videotaped for any reason, we're going to post it there. There's going to be a catalog of all these presentations of anything. You're going to be able to tab through the different meetings that have occurred from the beginning of the year until now, so that you can see and hear an education committee meeting or see the agenda from it, to where we built this full-day kindergarten assignment slowly. We are going to post an FAQ. One of the benefits of the visits to other schools was looking and seeing what the frequently asked questions were. So we're going to be not only collecting them from you, and by the way, if you didn't hear in the beginning, we have some index cards in the back of the room, so if you have a question, please drop us one. But we're going to be collecting them and posting them as time goes on. And again, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to Instagram and Facebook, and we have district newsletters as well, so look for some information is there. So thank you.
Good evening, folks. Thank you very much for coming out this evening. My name is Al Funk. I have the privilege of being the Director of Secondary Education. I have never had the privilege of teaching a kindergarten class, but never say never. In terms of next steps, I think, as was mentioned earlier, we did solicit the assistance of Hanover Research Corporation to administer a survey to all Council Rock stakeholders on full-day kindergarten. And as was also mentioned, that survey was available beginning on May 20th, and it closed on June 2nd. At this juncture, Hanover is scrubbing, that's a technical term, they are scrubbing the data to ensure the accuracy of the responses. They are also preparing a final report for us, which the district hopes to receive within the next day or two. As soon as we do receive those results, we will be sharing it with the school board of directors, and then later with the community at large via the district website. As was also mentioned, a lot of reiteration, we also intend to hold an education committee meeting next Thursday evening at Chancellor Center at 7 p.m., and we will further share and discuss the results of that survey. In terms of next steps in the process, if the board does approve the full-day kindergarten program, we would look to form a steering committee with broad stakeholder representation. Of course, the committee is likely to be composed, of several important subcommittees targeting many of the topics we discussed tonight: staffing, facilities, curriculum, etc. And finally, as an administration, as Ms. Mangold so eloquently stated, we will endeavor to keep the community informed of our process each step of the way. And this will be accomplished through the FAQs, the website portals developed specifically for full-day kindergarten, and community presentations much like this evening. With that, I would like to hand it back to my elementary counterpart, Mrs. Crawford, and I believe she has some audience questions that our team will be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Funk. I'm just going to get another microphone here. Thank you for those in the audience who shared some questions. I have them in my hand, and I am going to do my best now to ask my colleagues to respond to those questions. So we will start with Mr. Devlin. Will the life skills students be moved once again?
Thank you, Mrs. Crawford. No, there is no plan. We will not be moving life skills students.
Okay. Can and will there be a focus group for the 24-25 school year? And if I'm interpreting that question correctly, I think Mr. Funk already addressed that question just now, that we are looking to put a steering committee into place should full-day kindergarten be something that we can pursue moving forward. So that would consist of, as he shared, internally we would have staff, we would have administration, we would have community members and parents, all the important stakeholders that would need to be able to share their feedback into the process. So the answer would be yes. We do look to have, we'll be looking to have a steering committee should we get to that point in the process. Oh, okay, so the clarification I just received is if we are looking to have a pilot next school year, as I shared earlier in the presentation, we were looking at an aim to be able to implement this in the 25-26 school year if given the opportunity. I will share that we have not discussed any plans for a pilot up until this point. Thank you for the question. Will there be a need for redistricting in order to have full-day kindergarten be put in place? And the answer is no, there is not a need for redistricting in order for full-day kindergarten to be implemented. It is important to point out that as an administrative team, we are working closely with our demographer, Mr. Matt Cropper, and keeping the school board and the community updated as we continue to navigate questions and any kind of spacing challenges that we're facing. And one of those examples is Wrightstown Elementary School. So we are looking closely at challenges, but we do not need to redistrict in order for full-day kindergarten to be implemented. There are a series of questions here. I'm going to ask if Ms. Gary can come up and answer, and here they are. Will there be student screening evaluations prior to the start of school with full-day kindergarten? Will the workplaces portion of the Bridges math program be used? Should we implement full-day kindergarten? Do kindergartners receive one-on-one technology? For example, the use of iPads, will they be implemented? And finally, would each room have a teacher, an instructional assistant available? So there's more of a general response to all those questions, but I'll turn it over to Ms. Gary.
Thank you. Can I see the question so I remember what they are? Is it on? Okay. The first question is, will there be... First question, will there be student screening evaluations prior to the start of school for these students? We visited 3 different elementary schools, and interestingly, that was something that we took away from all of them, that they did have screenings after registration, but before school started. They all looked very different, but they all provided a great deal of information, so that's something that's being looked at and discussed as a possibility, again, because we haven't officially started anything. We're waiting to find out if this will take place, and that is something that's very high on the list. So the students could become grouped well, looking at everything from birthdays, where they fall in the year, to having equal number of boys and girls, to having students that have different needs, from being, struggling or needing more. So it gives you a lot of information. Other things they looked at, the screeners, were social skills. Students who got along with each other, or from preschools were told to stay away from each other, not to be in the same school. There are things of gross motor skills and fine motor skills. So we have a lot of great ideas on that. This is a great group here. So we had a lot of good information for that. Will workplaces be utilized in bridges? We haven't had those specific conversations, although the math people are looking to see how and what would be enhanced, but that has to be determined by the time that's available for it. So again, everything's open right now for discussion as we have the task force to look at that and the engagement of the teachers. We'll narrow down the scope of these questions so everything's ready. Do kindergarten students receive one-to-one tech, for example, the iPad? I'm not sure at that age it would be kind of cost effective to be one-to-one because we want more creativity, more play. So there would be technology available, but I'm not sure. That's something else that's open. But again, for that age level, we want to do what's developmentally appropriate for them in regards to technology. Would each room have a teacher aide during educational instructional time? That, again, is a great question. We don't have an answer to that yet. But again, through the different meetings we're going to have, task force, these are all questions that are going to be answered. So thank you. Great questions.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gary. And the next question is related to busing, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Rapp. The question was, will kindergarten students in a full-day format be able to ride the school bus? And he's going to share the answer to that as well as some related information. Mr. Rapp?
Thank you. Any kindergarten student would be entitled to the same transportation as any other student in Council Rock School District. So the only exceptions would be students who live within the walk zone, other than the special needs students who would still have transportation in the walk zone. And as I said, we would be making sure that we ran enough buses in the morning and in the afternoon to provide busing to all the students that need busing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next question is for Mr. Devlin. What type of plan and considerations have you looked at to prevent the increase of any kind of misdiagnosis of ADHD and any learning disabilities because of the full-day format?
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. I'm proud to say that on our record as having a rather low classification rate right now, we are not a district that over-identifies for such. But practice is that we will discuss this with our school psychologists and with our teachers through professional development to ensure that we maintain that level of classification rate, not to over-identify students with such categories. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next question, if full-day kindergarten is adopted, when is the earliest it could possibly be put in place? And as we shared earlier in the presentation, with the work that we've done as a team, we are currently looking at the idea of a 25-26 school year for the start of it. But again, there's as Dr. Senko said at the beginning of this presentation, there's more work to be done. And so we are taking things one step at a time, and we will continue to do everything that we can to provide information to the community. And so at this time, I think that the beginning of next year would not be realistic, but we are looking for the following year. The next question, what is the deadline for the decision to be made so full-day kindergarten will be able to begin in the 25-26 school year? So I want to reference the community survey that we spoke about a couple different times tonight, the Hanover Research Survey. That's a really critical piece in this work. We are going to be able to share soon the results of the community survey, and we're pleased with the amount of people that were able to take it. And so that's really going to help guide next steps, perhaps, and certainly we will be taking the direction from the school board as well. So I think it is hard to share too much more than what we already have related to possible timelines, because there are next steps that we need to follow, and certainly the results of the Hanover survey and analyzing them is the next step. Yes. Sure. So the question was related to if you didn't take the Hanover Research Survey, how you can share your feedback. And you can certainly reach out to me or come up to me at the end of this presentation. I'd be happy to share my contact or anyone else on the team. Happy to listen to the feedback that you have. You can certainly, the school board email addresses are available on the website, so you can also reach out to them at any time. And we can provide that at the end of the presentation as well. Okay. And the last question I have is related to Wrightstown Elementary School and what that may look like with the full day format. And again, as I shared, there are some challenges that we are working with Mr. Smith, the principal, on as we speak, and our demographer. But again, in terms of full day kindergarten and being able to implement it, we would have space to implement it, but there is also some work that we're continuing to look at in terms of what that would mean for some of those topics related to Wrightstown, such as capping. So that is work that we are doing as we speak, and again, working with Matt Cropper, our demographer, on that. Next question is related to Champions. Will they be restructured and available for full day, before or after care? Champions continues to be very good to us. We're very pleased with the service that Champions provides with the care, and they are aware that we are currently exploring full day kindergarten. So I've had personally, as well as Dr. Sanko and other members of the team, have had those conversations with the Champions folks, and so we would not have a need for kindergarten enrichment, because the kindergarten enrichment program is obviously for a half-day format, but we would be looking to continue our partnership with them for before and after care, so that would continue. And the last question I have, with 17 classrooms, will that keep or allow kids to attend their home school? So with 17 overall classrooms, right now, if I'm interpreting the question correctly, we've done a lot of work with the school principals across the 10 elementary schools about if the expected full-day classrooms would be able to fit in the footprint of their buildings, and yes, they would be. And again, there's a lot of work that goes into that in terms of looking at projecting with first grade enrollment, and typically that helps guide us to expect how many, generally speaking, incoming full-day kindergartners we may receive. So we're looking at all those numbers and analyzing them. And most importantly, I want to point out we are working with the building principals. They know their buildings best. And so that's been something that's been in place since the board did ask us to explore full-day kindergarten. We are working closely at the building level to be able to make sure that we are planning and trying to stay as many steps ahead as we can each step of the way. So that concludes the question and answer portion of the presentation. On behalf of the team, I do want to thank all of you for being here tonight. I want to thank those of you listening at home, and we hope that you have found this to be an informative session, and the team will remain up at front at the end. If you have any other questions, we're happy to answer them. Thank you again, and have a great evening.